are recording. So,
Uh,
welcome to Typology Gifts. Nice to meet you. I don't know how to pronounce your name, so could you tell me how to pronounce your name?
it's like what I've put down is Crahs, but my name's Crahs.
Okay, so should I call you Crahs?
Crahs.
Crahs? Okay,
Yeah.
got it. I'm Dan. Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
All right, so have you watched any of my typing videos before?
Yeah, I watched a few of them. I skimmed through them just to get the general idea of how it worked.
Okay. Um, so for the benefit of those who haven't, and by the way, are you catching any? Am I blowing right into the mic, or does it sound fine?
Sounds clean.
Sounds clean. Okay. Um, so for the benefit of those who don't know, uh, basically, I'm not gonna point at you and say you're a that. It's more like I'm going to try to come to an educated guess, so to speak, of what type I think you are, and then tell you, and then we can talk about it if you have been typed by other people or by other tests or something like that. And the idea would be it's just another data point, it's another viewpoint for you to think about. Um, I may or may not be right, but at least when you rewatch the video, you can see kind of like what I was thinking about when I uh, when I crossed certain ones off the list, and maybe that would, if you had any trouble deciding or figuring out what type you were, maybe that would help. Maybe I'll cross something off the list earlier that you would have thought you were, or something like that. So, anyways, it can go a number of different ways. It's never quite the same. Any questions before we get running on this?
No, 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 none at all.
Pretty straightforward. Okay. Um, I guess the other thing I should mention is it's got it. I would prefer if we do it in a like kind of a cooperative way. So it doesn't really it works in your best interest if you are able to be as real as possible about the answers that you're giving. Just because if you send me off on a rabbit trail, you know what I mean. Like I
Yeah.
may find my way back, but so all right. We're good on all those things to begin with. So I'm gonna let you talk a little bit now. Could you tell me about your attention span? Do you have a would you say that your attention span is short, medium length, long attention span? Where do you fall on that spectrum?
I would say I'm attentive to things that I'm interested in. If I'm not, say if someone's talking to me about something that I like really don't care about, then I'm just gonna be in my head practically the whole time, just thinking of pretty much anything else.
Okay. Do you find it difficult to concentrate on what when you're talking to people, what they're saying to you?
Uh, I'd say not really, but if it's just like small talk, then I can just brush it over and just already guess what they're gonna say to me. So,
Okay. Are you any good at small talk?
uh, I'd say I'm horrible, honestly.
You're horrible at small talk?
Yeah.
Why do you think you're horrible at small talk?
Oh well, like when I speak to like my friends or like friends of friends, I become quite autistic, if that's right to say.
Okay.
Like I'll start getting into detail about like I don't know chess, for example, or maybe typology, just anything that I'm interested in at the time.
Okay. So do you think that do you think when you say autistic, are you referring to the mirror neurons kind of like not necessarily knowing when not necessarily being able to pick up the signs from another person knowing that
Yeah,
they're not
yeah,
interested in what you're saying? Okay.
yeah.
All right. Um, so I mean that doesn't really come down to type to be honest, but I mean that is just more of a that's just a neurological thing but I mean it is interesting
I think
to know
running it
it.
down would be more to like I can't read social cues.
Right, and that's not. Yeah, I mean any type can have that. I think, but certainly I would assume certain types would be, or perhaps if you had difficulty reading social cues, perhaps it would be more comfortable for you to be a certain personality type or to have a certain personality type because reasons. Um, so So let me ask you this question. Despite maybe not necessarily knowing, maybe not necessarily catching on to certain social cues, when we're speaking strictly about people's emotional situations, could you kind of walk me through how in tune you are to other people's emotions or the emotional temperature of the room, or if somebody's talking to you about their own emotional state or something like that? Like, what is your kind of natural tendency in those kinds of situations?
Well, I know. I guess I can feel the emotional temperature of the room. Like, I know if something's said and someone's offended and they're not showing that, I can tell they are.
Okay.
Just yeah. Uh, I know when to hold back. I guess if there's like criticism that needs to be said, I would sugarcoat it just so
Okay.
that other person, so just so the atmosphere doesn't get uncomfortable.
Sure, sure. Makes sense. So, when you when you commit a social faux pas, and but you know what I mean by that, I'm assuming, right?
Hmm.
Is it something that you know right away when you've done it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's probably about 2 seconds after.
Okay.
Then yeah, pretty much.
And then and then it's and then what are you doing at that point? Are you trying to smooth it over, or how
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
okay.
I try to smooth it over for
Okay.
sure.
Are you any good at smoothing it over, or do you
It
struggle?
just makes things more awkward.
Okay. Okay. So so you're aware that it's awkward, but it's kind of spiraling out of control in a way.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. All right. Um so um could you tell me what is your relationship with authority?
Uh, it's fine. Keeps me safe, I guess. If there are things that like I don't know, like rules, for example, if there are rules that are kind of stupid, then like I won't hesitate to break them. But if that's probably around about the entire thing. Like they keep me safe, I guess. Or yeah.
Okay,
If
so
if if there's someone that's like incompetent, like authority, for example, at leading,
mhm.
I'll try to do what I can to stay away from that figure.
Okay. How do you determine that a leader is incompetent?
Well, just probably off the decisions that they make. Like if their decisions are like not good ones, like just I would need like a example for me to be able to say what makes them incompetent, but I think it's just generally the decisions that they make.
Okay. Um, would you say that you find it easy or difficult to know what other people are thinking?
Uh, Probably difficult.
Difficult. Okay.
Uh, I can kind of guess that's probably about it, but it's more likely difficult than easy.
Okay. Um, let's see. What's your what is your natural aptitude towards argumentation? So this would be like logic. Maybe that's a bad way of saying it, but like um, working through logical progressions. So it's done in math, but it's also done in like debate, and it's done in
Yeah,
you know
I
you
enjoy debating.
you enjoy debating.
I I like arguing. It helps me learn, and I hope that it helps the other person learn as well.
Okay. So do you feel like it's an important thing for you to develop your understanding and then being able to pass that on to other people?
Um, kind of, I guess. I guess so. It's just like if I get to know something, then I just get to know it. Say if the conversation comes up somewhere else, then I can just relay that, I guess.
Okay. Let me just put a few things here on my little chart. Um, how well do you? Well, let me ask you this. Would you say um, that you understand your own feelings better or understand other people's feelings better?
Probably other people's feelings.
Okay. Do you find yourself confused by your feelings sometimes?
Yeah, it's either I'm like I have no emotion at all, and then or an emotion will come and it will just I don't know, just be surprising.
Okay. So what do you do in that situation when you've
Ignore it,
encountered a surprising? What's that?
ignore it pretty much. Like it's
Ignore it.
just I feel it, and it's just all right. That's it.
Okay. So it doesn't factor your own emotions don't necessarily factor in a whole lot when it comes down to it. When it comes down to your daily making decisions or whatever, it's sort of like it might come and it might be confusing, but it's not going to be center stage kind of.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Um, and would you say that other people like tend to be more picky than you?
Uh, no, I'd say I'm quite picky.
Are you quite picky? What are you picky about?
Uh, I'm not that picky, but when it comes to food, like I
Hmm.
really don't like eating certain foods.
Okay.
Just be, no, like I don't like just tomatoes and peas. These are examples.
Sure.
Don't like them.
What don't you like about them?
Well, tomatoes, I like them on pizza, but if they're in a sandwich, can't eat it. It soaks up the bread, just everything. It just makes it uncomfortable for me to eat.
Okay, so is it like the texture or something like that, or the taste?
Yeah, the taste and the texture. The texture is just a bit mushy. I don't know. I like them on pizzas though. That's something else.
Okay. Um, what about music? Are you like a music snob, or do you like a lot of different kinds of music?
I like every music. I'd say if I had a passion, it'd be music.
Okay.
So I see as music as like not necessarily just kind of a subjective thing, but I like to think of the music or listen to it as how it's made rather
Hmm.
than like I don't like this because it's this instead of that. Like a lot of people don't like cowboy music and country music,
Sure.
and country music may not be you know best for everyone, but it's not necessarily the best for me. But I can tell why it's as
Mm-hmm.
good as it is.
I see. How good are you at knowing what is good and what is not good?
I think that's subjective. Well, even to myself, honestly. Like, if I think something's good, then it's not necessarily good itself.
Okay. You're saying that you're sort of assigning a label to it that it's good, but that's your own subjective
It's a personal opinion, yeah.
viewpoint. Do you think that things can be, well, let me put it this way. Um, there's subjectively good, and then there's something that is sort of beyond a threshold of critical acclaim because of its quality. Is that
hmm
something you're able to easily identify, or do you find yourself agreeing with critics, or do you do you find that do you find yourself saying, well, that's their opinion?
Uh, what pretty much is their opinion.
Okay.
I see like if something's good, then I'll see it in a like a mass. Say there's one song, and then there's like 10,000 people that rated it like a 7, and then like 500 people rated like an 8. I would go with the 7 because that's the majority.
Yeah, that was how the majority felt about that.
Pretty much, yeah. I'd say it's good when the majority says it's good,
Sure,
but
sure.
I have my own personal opinion towards it.
Right, right, right. Okay. Um, let me see here. I would like to give you a couple of sort of like challenges. You said you've watched some of my other videos, so you might have seen me do this. So I'm gonna try to come up with something new.
Oh,
Just
I haven't. I just skimmed through them, probably like the first like 5 minutes,
okay,
5-10 minutes.
okay. Um, well, nevertheless, for the entertainment of those watching, I will try to do something a little new. Um, let me think about this for a second. Um, could you what is a place that you normally go every day or most days?
My bedroom.
Your bedroom. Okay. Um, could you create a metaphor for me for what it's like being in your bedroom using animals?
Cat.
Okay, could you elaborate?
Well, because it's relaxing,
Mm,
and that's it. It's about that. It's relaxing and it's cozy. It's calm, and there really isn't much else to it. It's
no.
probably all I can think of.
Okay. And if I gave you, I'm going to give you three objects, just three different objects, and I'd like you to, as quickly as you can, conceptualize. Tell me five things that those objects have in common. So the three objects that I'm going to give you are um, a leg of chicken,
Hmm.
the sun, and a rose.
All right. Mm, all right. Oh, well, a leg of chicken requires heat for it to be cooked.
Okay.
A rose needs the sun for it to grow,
Mhm.
and the sun does exactly that for both of them, I guess. If you could leave the chicken out in the sun.
Sure, sure, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one thing.
Alright. Uh, hmm. Well, you can't. Actually, no. Don't worry about that. You technically can, but I can't. I can't think of five things. I think this one's too hard.
Okay, okay. No problem. I'm going to give you a different one that will enable you to conceptualize something a little differently, and we'll see if this one's easier for you or not. Could
Alright.
might be harder, but we'll have to see. Could you come up with um, well, I'm gonna see if I can change this one. Um, could you come up with five unconventional uses of a glass that don't have to do with drinking or holding water or something like
Or you
that?
can throw it.
Okay, that's one.
Uh, you can use the glass itself, like break the glass and put it into like a painting or a sculpture.
Okay, two.
Uh, you could put it upside down and then balance something on it.
Okay,
You could use it as a vase.
okay,
Uh, and you could just melt the glass and recreate it into something else.
okay.